in the United States, in the state of Pennsylvania, there is a quiet town called Gettysburg. Today, it looks peaceful. Green fields, old houses, tourists walking slowly with cameras. But this land remembers something else. In July of 1863, for 3 days, Gettysburg became the site of the bloodiest battle ever fought on American soil. More than 50,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing. Many of them never received proper burials. They fell where they stood, and some people believe they never left. Gettysburg Battlefield is considered one of the most real haunted places in America, not because of legends, but because of what people still experience. Visitors report hearing gunfire when the fields are empty, seeing soldiers marching through fog, hearing names whispered at night, and almost every story begins the same way, with someone who thinks history is silent. Daniel Brooks came to Gettysburg for a documentary project. He was a sound engineer, not a believer. His job was simple: record ambient sound for a historical film. Wind, birds, footsteps, nothing supernatural. On his first evening, Daniel set up his equipment near Devil's Den, one of the most violent locations of the battle. As the sun went down, fog rolled across the fields. At exactly 9:03 p.m., his recorder picked something up. Not wind, not animals, voices, men shouting, orders being given, then gunfire. Daniel ripped off his headphones. The field was empty. No reenactments, no tourists, no sound. But when he played the recording back, the war was still there. Daniel didn't stop the recording. That was his first mistake. He stood in the middle of Devil's Den, fog curling around his legs, listening to sounds that should not exist anymore. Gunfire, shouting, boots pounding against the earth. The recorder trembled slightly in his hands, not from wind, but from vibration. The ground itself felt alive, like it was remembering. Daniel checked his watch. 9:11 p.m., the sounds grew clearer. Hold the line. Medic, don't let them take the ridge, Daniel whispered. This isn't possible. Then the fog shifted. Figures began to form slowly, painfully, like images struggling to focus. Men in tattered uniforms stood where moments ago there had been nothing. Some were missing pieces of themselves. Some clutched wounds that never healed. Some stared straight ahead, eyes empty, still waiting for orders. Daniel stepped back. His foot struck something solid. He looked down. A rifle, old, rusted, half buried in the soil. When he touched it, the field exploded with sound. Cannons thundered. Men screamed. Horses cried out. Daniel fell to his knees, clutching his head. The visions came fast. Soldiers charging uphill. Bodies collapsing beside him. Blood soaking into the same ground he was kneeling on now. This is wrong, Daniel gasped. A hand gripped his shoulder. Stay down, a voice said urgently. You'll get killed. Daniel turned. A young soldier crouched beside him, face smeared with dirt and blood. His eyes were terrified but focused. "You don't belong here," the soldier said. "You're not one of us." Daniel shook his head. This is a battlefield from the past." The soldier frowned. Past. A cannon blast shook the air. The soldier looked around, confused. The fighting hasn't stopped. Daniel realized something horrifying. To them, the war was still happening. A bullet tore through the air. The soldier shoved Daniel hard. "Run!" Daniel stumbled backward, and the field snapped back into silence. No fog, no soldiers, no sound. Daniel was alone. His recorder was still running. Back at his hotel room, Daniel listened to the audio. The recording was worse than what he'd heard outside. Layered voices, commands overlapping, men crying for their mothers, and beneath it all a low, steady sound, breathing. Daniel shut the recorder off. At 3:17 a.m., he woke suddenly. Outside his window, the field was empty, but he could hear marching. Slow, organized, and getting closer. Daniel didn't sleep after that night. He sat on the edge of the hotel bed, shoes still on, recorder resting in his lap like something alive. Every few minutes he checked the time, half expecting the sounds to return. They did. At 4:02 a.m., faint at first, boots on dirt. Marching. Daniel pressed his ear to the window. The field outside was empty. No lights, no reenactors, no movement. But the sound was unmistakable. Formation. He grabbed the recorder and stepped outside. The air was cold, sharper than before. Fog crept low across the ground, rolling in waves like breath. Daniel followed the sound back toward Devil's Den, heart pounding with every step. As he reached the rocks, the marching stopped. A voice carried through the fog. Roll call. Names followed, dozens of them, spoken calmly, rehearsed. Here, here, here. Daniel's throat tightened. A new name echoed louder than the rest. Brooks. Daniel froze. "That's me," he whispered. The fog parted. Hundreds of soldiers stood across the field in long, broken lines. Some leaned on rifles. Some knelt. Some lay where they had fallen, eyes open, waiting. None of them looked surprised to see him. "You can hear us," an older officer said, stepping forward. His uniform was torn, his face lined with exhaustion that never ended. "That's rare," Daniel swallowed. "You're dead." The officer tilted his head. "We were never told that." Behind him, the soldiers shifted. Wounded men clutched bandages that never healed. Young faces stared ahead, still expecting orders. "We didn't leave," the officer said. "The fighting stopped." "We didn't." Daniel shook his head. "You don't belong here anymore." The officer's expression softened, almost sad. "Neither do you." A cannon thundered. The ground shook. The battle erupted again. Gunfire, screams, chaos exploding out of the fog. Daniel ran, ducking behind rocks as bullets tore through the air that shouldn't have existed. A soldier grabbed his arm, the same young man from before. "You hear us because you listen," he shouted. "If you stay, you'll learn how to march with us." Daniel pulled free and ran harder than he ever had. The fog thickened, pressing in, pulling at him. "Don't forget us," voices cried. Daniel burst through the fog and collapsed. Sunlight hit his face. Birds chirped. The field was quiet. Tourists stood nearby, staring at him in confusion. Daniel dropped the recorder. It was still running. Back home, he deleted the audio, all of it, except one file. In the silence of his apartment, he listened to it once more. At the end of the recording, after the gunfire, after the screams, a calm voice spoke clearly. "Roll call complete." Daniel never returned to Gettysburg. But some nights, when the world is quiet, he hears marching in his dreams. And he answers without speaking. If you want to hear another story about a real haunted place somewhere else in the world, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Because the next place I'll tell you about still hasn't stopped calling names.
La